Alright, bledrins, welcome back to a new Lightning Quick Repairs episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at my Samsung Galaxy S8. This is my Galaxy S8 that I kind of screwed up, and you can see that there's a display on it, but it's a really bad quality display on it. Shut up, it's missing touch inputs. So if I go here and if I go to lighting edge lighting, you can see that's cut off right there on the sides completely. It just shows the bottom and the top. So if I do that again, yeah, I don't know if it will focus, but you can see that's it, and it's not meant to be like that. So that enough is there to kind of show you that this display is kind of rubbish. I bought another Samsung Galaxy S8 display, and this comes with a frame. This is second hand, and the screen has a lot of scratches in it, but that's fine. And it's just got one really small crack right there. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. I think it will show better when I actually turn this on, when it's all fully back together again. Right, so what you want to first do is you want to always heat the back of your phone, right, and you want to take off the actual back itself. But because I've already opened this phone, it's going to be a lot easier. There we are. So let's just take that SIM card tray out. And I know my SIM card tray is not the issue here, it's the frame, and I'll show you that in a second as well. And once again, because I've already taken this apart, it's going to be really easy for me to get this open. So I've got my little pry tool here, slide that in, oof, there we are. Okay, that's still connected on, so you want to get something like a tweezer or a little plastic tool, like a pry tool, and you want to detach that. Oh, never mind, it just came straight off anyways. Alright, so let's just keep that off to the side now. And now we start taking off all of these Phillips screws. Last screw coming out now. Perfect. And that is it. So now what you can do is you can grab a flat tool like this and you can start prying that away, and that comes straight off there. It will probably come off a little bit harder for you guys if you're doing this the first time, but I've done this a lot, so obviously it comes off really easy for me. And I'll also show you how miserable this housing is on the inside. So let's just disconnect this battery. There we are, perfect. And let's remove this battery right here. Obviously this battery will be a bit difficult for you guys to take apart or take off. You can just use IPA if you want to, and that basically absorbs or dissolves the stickiness, the sticky residue on the back, and that kind of just makes it really easy to pull out. And this one will come off with a little snap. This one's got the speaker in it, so be careful not to damage that. And now we've got the motherboard and everything. So one thing I recommend you do is not use these metal tools to work around the actual motherboard itself. Use something like plastic, as they're not strong enough to actually damage components. And this thing, if you slip, you'll break a bunch of components and cables and flex cables and stuff like that. So yeah, these are just a lot safer. So the first thing I'm going to take off is this display connector. That's the first thing I'm taking off. Get rid of that horrible thing. Disconnect that. Disconnect the camera right there. Use my tweezers to disconnect the two antenna cables. There we are. So that too is disconnected right there. And now the motherboard will drop straight out. Obviously make sure your SIM card tray is removed, otherwise it won't drop out and you'll be questioning why it's not coming out. I've done that too many times. You could just grab it from a corner. I recommend this corner that I'm doing it from as well. And you don't want to just lift it straight out. You want to hinge it towards you like this, because on the back right here is a flex cable for the dot connector. So you could just use like a fingernail and that comes straight off right there. Perfect. Keep that off to the side, keep that safe too. And now you can see both housings. Now you can immediately just tell this is like an aftermarket display, and you can see all of this text and all this bullshit on there, whereas this one is original because it would have these kind of marks on it where it's got a number on it and it's got these little bits of text. But this one, it's not meant to have Chinese or nothing like that. It's very stupid. It's not meant to have aftermarket labels and so on and so forth. But you can see this one's missing things like the vibration motor, the little top sensors and the cameras. So we got to transplant that from this one into this one. So we're going to do that now. And we're going to also take off the dot connector. Alright, so when it comes to actually removing the dot connector, it's quite simple. There's quite a few screws around here, so you want to start taking off the screws. Once again, keep these always separate. You never know when one thing could be a bit smaller than the other, even if they look the same. Although Samsung always uses the same screws, don't take your chances. It just keeps you organized, and that's a good thing to learn when you're repairing stuff. So just keep that all separate there. There we are, perfect. Now I'm just going to double check to see if there's anything else. What we can do here is disconnect this headphone jack, perfect. And now everything should just come straight off. We just got to deroute these cables right here. There we are. And let's just get this little plastic tool right here, see if we can start taking this off. It should come off quite easily. I'm going to start off with this side first. Yeah, that comes straight off. Should be a bit more gentle, but yeah, that comes straight off, as you can see. And our headphone jack comes off last. Now keep that off to the side. Now bring back your second housing. Here we go. And we got to start moving on to the top. So we can see that on this one, our vibration motor's missing, our camera's missing, this thing's missing, and this metal shield that's right here is also missing. That came from our original housing as well. And we got to move this cable as well. So basically it's just the cables and the little bits and bobs, and then we're basically good to go. So the first thing you can take off is the camera. That thing that just fell out right there from that black housing is a SIM eject pin thing, so don't lose that. That's not meant to come out, but you can tell how shit this housing is when it starts falling apart. That should just come straight out, but yeah, that just comes straight out. Just be very careful though. Just keep it off to the side. I'm going to give that a clean as well, and this should come off, but I'm going to be using tweezers. So you want to attack it from literally this side right here. There's a little slot right there, and you just want to slowly start taking that off, and that should just come off there. There we are, perfect. Don't go too hard, otherwise you're gonna break your earpiece, and that's not good. Come on, mate. Perfect, just needed some leverage. There we are, that comes off, and that's got some adhesive to it right there. And then we got to take off this metal shield, and if you've done this before, it's going to come off straight away like that, but it's got adhesive on the actual housing itself. Obviously this one's shit, so it really has any of that, but yeah, that will come off like that. Next we got to take off the actual vibration motor. So what you can do, you can use some tweezers, and then you can just start lifting up. That should come straight off. Bloody hell. There we are. So now we're just going to work in reverse, and we're going to start putting this frame back together. There we are. So you just put that in there, and there's little notches, and that just clicks in place. Next we want to put in the coin style vibration motor. This only goes in one way, and you can see the cutout is made like that, so you can't screw it around. There we are, perfect. It just drops straight in there. And then you want to put in your earpiece. There you go. It's like little Minecraft blocks. It just falls straight in. And then you want to put in your camera. And what I'm going to do is the same thing for the camera. Just quickly give that a clean. Perfect. So that is our phone on the top half reassembled. So now let's just cut and go onto the bottom half and reassemble that. Alright guys, so now that you've got your top half reassembled, time to get the bottom half reassembled. Now the first thing you're going to do is plug in the dot connector, so that literally just sits in there. You want to kind of hinge it inwards. So to kind of explain it, you want to put this bottom bit right here, so you want to line up the bottom bit and then push that in there like that, and that falls and sits in there perfectly. It just needs a bit of a push sometimes, so let me just quickly do that. And then you want to get your headphone jack, and one thing you might notice is that that little bit sticking out right there, that little gold pin that's sticking out right there, that's not broken, that's normal, that's how it's meant to be. It's just to ensure that your headphones are fully grounded and connected properly. So what you want to do is you just want to put that in there first, and then that just drops straight in there, right? And then you can connect it back up like usual. So you might need to use tweezers for this. That's fully in there perfectly. So now that that's in there, just route these two cables. So this blue one's at the top, that's already in there. So that's meant to stick out just ever so slightly, and this one is meant to go in there like that. There we are, that's in there. That's in there as well. So now, oh shit, that didn't even get in focus in the shot, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, just run your little tip along on that, and that will fully go in place. Perfect. So now that that's in there, just make sure you press all those cables down. Get your screws that you kept on the side before, that you kept separate, and just start screwing everything back into place. Alright, so time to put this motherboard back in. Now if you flip this over, you can see that connector on the back. That connector connects to the dot connector. I said it will connect like 8 times, but yeah, just be very careful with that. It's fragile and you don't want to break any connectors. So yeah, take your time with this one, because it's going to be going backwards like this. Basically it's going to go on the back, so you won't be able to see as much, but I got it in there first try perfectly, so that's good. Route those cable in there, that's fine. Move this cable out the way, and now this kind of gets a bit finicky, so just move that cable out the way, and then you want to also get the cable for that out of the way as well. Out of the way. There we are. There we are, that just drops in perfectly. And now just start connecting all the connectors back up. Be very careful with these connectors, just so you are aware. That's connected on the main star of the show. And you want to make sure you connect these little antenna cables as well. There we are, that's in there. That's in there as well, perfect. Now I'm just going to use a back just to kind of push that in there. That's all fully in there. Fantastic. And now, where's that SIM tray? Here it is. Just want to make sure this goes in correctly. Perfect. And you can kind of plug that back in just so you can secure it down. That's actually a good idea, so it doesn't fall out. Shouldn't really do that, but that's fine. And just make sure every single connector, especially your display connector, is seated in perfectly fine, properly. As the last thing you want to do is short out anything because your battery is connected. But anyways, plug this battery in. There we are. There we go. Put this on. There we go. And then plug this in. So this goes in from the bottom, so as you can see right here, and then it kind of just clicks into place. There we are. There we go. And now the moment of truth. Would this work? Yay! Amazing. So that is very bright, but that is perfect. And obviously fingerprint's not going to work because we've disconnected the cable for it, so that's fine. One thing that I find funny about this frame is, for one, this little piece, the little SIM eject pin, fell out. But also, second of all, there's Chinese text, and third of all, this back thing right here, it didn't even connect properly onto the back. It was very fiddly. This went so well, first try kind of thing. What I'm going to quickly do is, I'm just going to change the wallpaper because I've got like a personal wallpaper on this thing and I don't want to be showing that. There we are. Perfect. That looks amazing. And it does have minor burning. I can't lie, that does have a little bit of burning. Let's go to the phone dialer and let's check that actually. Okay, so it's survivable. I can't lie, it's very minor. What I'm going to do is just go into the phone dialer and just test out the screen. So first off, red looks to be normal, red. Green shows a burning, so I don't know if you can really see that. I don't know if you can see that at all, but there's just very minor burning. I'm okay with that at the end of the day. Blue probably will show it a bit better, I don't know. Anyways, mega cam, that's my camera. It's the back camera. Oh, it's gonna crash, isn't it? Yeah. The vibration is strong. Receiver is good. That's fine. Sensor. Yep, that's fine. Front cam. It's gonna crash, isn't it? Yep. Yep. It just crashed. Touch is what I want to test, so let's go all the way here. Let's go all the way here. There, that's looking very, very good. And I'm gonna scribble the living hell out of this display as well. Yeah, that looks to be perfectly fine, as you can see. I'm just going to complete that. There we are. Other than that, let's test the LEDs. Yeah, that looks to be fine. And black is black. That's fine. So yeah, that's basically all good to go now. And I'm just going to double test the speaker because I'm not sure why it would be disconnecting. I think it's just because we haven't screwed it in properly and stuff and it's a loose fit. But yeah, I'm gonna get that tested. But anyways, just give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. Alright, I was correct. So basically all it was that it just needed to be screwed on. So all I did was I just screwed these bottom screws in, and yeah, it's fully working. So if I go, you can already hear that. Bloody hell, that was loud. Yep, so you can see that speaker is fully working. And now what we just got to do is got to secure all of this down. So let's just put the remaining screws back on, and we are done. So now we can basically try iris. Will it work? If it doesn't work, I don't really care, but yep, that worked. Yep, that worked. You can see that. That's amazing. I'm gonna, yep, Wi-Fi is already working. That's all good. The camera's working. Yeah, that camera's looking nice. Front camera's looking nice. Hello. You can see my ugly ass mug there. And now, what we ideally want to do is we want to remove all of this, right? And we can actually do that now. Yeah, we might as well do that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this phone, and also you can see if I turn that back off, it says the fingerprint sensor isn't responding. That's because it's not even plugged in. So there we go. I'm loving this. I'm so happy right now. Let me just get some IPA and then we can clean off that residue and we can put this phone back together. So I just need to start scraping the living hell off of this. I'm probably going to do this off camera, but I'm just going to show you how to get started. So just get some IPA, put that on there, and then just start scraping away. There's probably better ways of doing it, but I'm just using what I know and what I've learned. But yeah, so if you just start scraping that away, that'll come off nice and easy. Alright guys, so finally I've removed all the adhesive on the side, so that's all good. It's looking really clean on the corners now. There was a lot of dirt, if you remember, so now I've cleaned all of that out. And now what you want to do is get your back glass, get your cotton swab, just clean that out basically. I'm just going to clean these as well. There you go, that's clean. And what you ideally want to do is replace the adhesive on this, but I'm going to be temporarily putting this back on just for the completion sake of it, and because I don't have a blue back glass on this right now. But anyways, what you want to do is you want to connect the fingerprint sensor, and this is quite tricky, and I've turned the phone off because there's basically a short distance between the cable and the actual motherboard itself. So I'm going to try do this in frame. Connected it, there we go. So that was a bit tricky, but I've connected it now, just holding my finger onto it. And now just want to align that top, sharp iPhone, align the bottom bit and just press that in place, press the edges, and that's your phone done. That looks so odd, I can't lie, but it looks so cool at the same time. So let's turn this on. I like it, I can't lie. I thought it would be looking weird, but I like it. So I've got myself like a little cloth where I had IPA on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that screen just a little wipe first, just to get rid of all the dirt and the fingerprints on it. Perfect. Yes, that's fine. And iris works fine. Fantastic. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go off the camera for a few minutes, just test out the calling function and all that, make sure the earpiece is working, everything it should do, and make sure charging, headphone, microphone, all that is working, and that's it. So just give me a few minutes, going to clear out the table, do my test, and I'll be right back. Right guys, I've just done my test. I've cleaned up the actual area itself, and all I've got to say is my phone is back. Everything's fully functional. I've just done a calling test, I've made sure the speakers, internet, everything's working, and my phone is back. So that's basically how to replace your Samsung Galaxy S8 display. One day I want to actually take off the display on that shitty housing and try to see what I can do with it, just as an experiment. If it breaks, oh well, it's not really that big of a deal, but that's just a little side experiment. That's not coming anytime soon, it's just for fun. But this was the main thing. I wanted my phone back and I finally got it, so I'm gonna spend time to move my stuff over again from my iPhone SE right here. Thank you very much for watching this Lightning Quick Repairs episode, Get Lost, the weather application. That's how you replace your Samsung Galaxy S8 display. And I know it's not a full exact repair because I haven't put the back glass on and so on and so forth, don't have the right back glass, but it doesn't really matter. That's how to replace your display, and everything I showed you is the same process. Thank you very much for watching this Lightning Quick Repairs episode, and I will see you again in the next video.